what is DevOps? Is it a role? Is it a methodology? Is it a culture? Well, it's all of those things and more. But let me start with a simple example. You and your team write code every day. That code gets integrated into a central repository. When changes are made, they are reviewed by your peers. That process is called continuous integration, or CI. Now, if you're doing your CI process right, your code is always ready to be deployed to production. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your code is always in production. It just means that your code has passed all the tests and checks necessary to be deployed to production. Now, what happens when your code is deployed? Well, that process is called continuous delivery, or continuous deployment. CD, for short. If your process is automated, then CD can happen automatically. But oftentimes there is still a manual step to promote your application to the next environment. For example, you might have multiple environments like DevOps, tests, QA, and then finally, production. You build your application in DevOps, then it moves to test, then it moves to QA, and then finally it gets deployed to production. That manual step could be any number of things. Maybe their SA final security check, or maybe their SA final sign-off from a product manager. But at the end of the day, the goal of continuous delivery or continuous deployment is to get your code into the hands of the end user as fast as possible while maintaining a high-quality product. Another thing that DevOps encompasses is IAC, or infrastructure as code. This means that your infrastructure, whether it's on-premise or in the cloud, is provisioned and managed through code. This allows you to do things like automatically scale your infrastructure up or down based on the needs of your application. Finally, DevOps includes monitoring and feedback. Monitoring the performance of your application and its infrastructure is critical to ensuring that your application is always running smoothly. And feedback, whether it's from the development team, the operations team, or the end user, is critical to improving the application. Now, those are some of the things that DevOps encompasses, but it's really more than the sum of its parts. DevOps is a cultural shift. It's a way of working that emphasizes collaboration, agility, and most importantly, automation. When I first started my career in software development, the typical career path looked something like this. You would start out as a developer, then you would move to a senior developer, then you would become a tech lead, then a principal engineer, and then eventually you would retire as an architect. Nowadays, thanks to DevOps, that career path looks more like this. You start out as a developer, then you move to a senior developer. Then instead of becoming a tech lead, you become a DevOps engineer. After a few years of experience in that role, you can either continue to grow within DevOps, or you can move back into a technical role, such as a principal engineer or an architect. And this is just one example of how DevOps is changing the way we work. Other benefits of DevOps include increased collaboration between developers and operations teams, faster delivery of applications to market, and improved application performance and reliability. Now let's talk about security. How does DevOps fit into the security of your application? Well, in a traditional development environment, security is often seen as a bottleneck. Security teams are typically asked to review code changes and approve them before they can be deployed to production. This can slow down the delivery of application updates and introduce friction between the development team and the security team. However, with DevOps, security is seen as a shared responsibility. Everyone on the team, from developers to operations to security, is responsible for the security of the application. This means that security is no longer a bottleneck, and everyone can work together to deliver a secure application as fast as possible. In addition, DevOps encourages the use of automation, which can help to reduce the number of security vulnerabilities in an application. When code is automatically tested and deployed, it is less likely to contain errors that could be exploited by a security threat. Finally, DevOps promotes a culture of collaboration and shared responsibility, which can help to create a more secure organization. When everyone is working together towards the same goal, it is easier to identify and mitigate security risks. Finally, let's talk about scalability. As your application grows, you need to be able to scale your infrastructure up or down to meet the demands of your users. With DevOps and infrastructure as code, you can automate that process so that your application can scale automatically. This means that you'll never have to worry about your application going down due to traffic spikes or other issues. In conclusion, DevOps is much more than a set of tools or a methodology. It's a cultural shift that can help you deliver better software, faster, and more securely. Whether you're a developer, an operations engineer, a security engineer, or a product manager, DevOps can help you do your job better.